Yes, today we're going to talk about birthright citizenship and how the Supreme Court is taking this under their consideration to rule on it. According to the Constitution, any amendment to the Constitution that is going to be changed, it requires two-thirds of both the House and the Senate, and it has to be ratified by three-fourths of the states. This was challenged in 1898. It was under United States versus Wong Kim Ark. And what had happened was it ruled that the Constitution, the 14th Amendment, is still the law of the land. Now, the 14th Amendment came about to necessitate the fact that African Americans, when they were released from their kidnapping, the trafficking, and wage theft, that they were not citizens because they were only considered three-quarters of a person, I believe, at the time. And so, having freed people with no citizenship, they had to institute the 14th Amendment to allow that. However, in the 13th Amendment, when it freed the African Americans of wage theft, they also put a caveat in there, is that if they were incarcerated again, they could be subject to quote unquote slavery, which occurred because they wrote vagrant laws to reincarcerate African Americans, and they put them on private farms, and the farmers would pay the sheriff department or whatever institution that they were assigned to, prison, county jail, and those institutions would reap the benefits of their labor. So again, there was wage theft, which occurs to this day. A lot of the firemen that they use from prison can only receive, I believe, $1 a day or something ridiculous like that. However, and when they are released from prison, they cannot use their experience fighting fires for the states on their resume. However, in California, Gavin Newsom rescinded that so that they could use that as a way of gainful employment. Getting back to the 14th Amendment, as I'd said earlier, that the Constitution has a provision in it that if you want to get rid of a particular amendment to the Constitution, you have to have two-thirds vote of both the House and the Senate, and it has to be ratified by three-quarters of the state. So it would be really difficult to do that for the Supreme Court to rule against it, although the Supreme Court can interpret the Constitution. They can't remove an amendment without the two-thirds of both houses and three-quarters ratification from the state. So I just wanted to go over that with you real quick. And I also wanted to add that Trump's mother was an immigrant from Scotland. His first wife, Ivana, was born in Czechoslovakia, was immigrant. And his current wife, Melania, came from Slovenia. And believe it or not, she was able to get her visa. She got a genius visa. Now, if anyone believes that, excuse me for laughing, but if anyone believes Melania has a genius IQ, then I'd like to sell you a bridge. But anyway, I just wanted to go over that with you real quick. So far, it looks like the courts, in their cross-examination of Trump's attorney who brought this before the Supreme Court, it seems as though it's not going to go anywhere because they seem to have a real problem, even the conservative justices, with trying to change this law. So anyway, we will talk later, and God bless.